All right. Well, again, welcome to our Learn the Signs Act Early webinar. We're really glad that you guys were able to join us today. We're going to be covering some updates for the Ambassador Program and just let you know some of the information that's happened and things that have happened since we last talked. So, all right, let's go ahead and, oh, come on, you little computer. This is... So here are some of the tasks that we asked you guys to take care of, and you agreed to be a deputy ambassador. And one was to support the distribution of your regional brochures that were been produced through our grant. And the second was to do presentations about Learn the Signs Act Early within your individual regions. And so I think you guys have probably all seen your little regional brochures. So this is the basic information from the CDC's Learn the Signs Act Early brochure. And then they've been personalized with information about the early intervention resources within each particular region. So here's what's happened so far. There have been 500 brochures printed per region, and they should have all been distributed out to your regions. And one of the things that Patty asked me to share with you all today is to be sure that when you guys attend your regional meetings, you let the folks in your region know how the brochures have been used, or maybe find out how they're using them if they've gone out to the individual folks within your region, and also let them know about any new Learn the Signs resources that have come up. And we're going to talk about those a little bit later. As well as reporting out on the distribution of the brochures. And that's going to be, oh, wait, let me say you can't see my screen. Well, that's not good. Okay. All right.
There it is.
Okay.
How I see it.
All right. Well, I am sorry, you guys. I'm going to go back and just run through those really quick again, just for the people who are going to join the recording. I'm sorry for you people listening to the recording. So I think probably you heard me say all this. So you're supporting the distribution of the brochures and doing presentations within your region. There's a picture of a regional brochure. And these were the things I talked about, how all the brochures should be out within the regions already, and that you can share information on using the brochures, as well as capture some of that information as well. So the way that previously you guys responded to a survey that came out asking about your Learn the Signs Act Early Deputy Ambassador tasks, and you will be getting the similar questions on the annual Captain Survey, which I believe is coming out in October. So you will see some questions on that survey, which will help us to capture updated data. So here was the answer to the question about, did you disseminate any of the regional brochures? And I think you guys did the survey in June. So this was the first like 3 months. So yes, some people had done it. The majority of folks hadn't gotten their regional brochures yet. So we had not had distribution yet of the regional brochures. And so how many had folks distributed? Again, it's kind of a little bit of a range. Some people were really, really getting out there, and they probably ran out of their 500 brochures pretty fast if they were, doing that quickly. And then how did people use them? So what was one of the questions? Where did you distribute the brochures? And here were some of the different answers that folks had for where they were going out and using their brochures. So that might give you guys some ideas if there's some areas that you haven't yet been able to get the brochures out to. So I had some questions for you guys. This is where you can use your the question panel, or you can raise your hand if you want me to unmute you, and you can tell us where have you used the brochures, or have you had new places that you've used the brochures since your survey, or have you had some ideas on where you might take the brochures now that you do have them? So that's something you can answer. Click into the question panel. You have somebody saying medical offices. Are there other places that folks are using them or have an idea about? using them. Okay, they say we use our, let's see. Oh, the region wants to know if there's possible to get more. We're going to talk about that later. They take them to parent workshops and conferences. Oh, digital social media. Oh, nice. And then a family day in the park. That sounds like a fun community outreach activity. Okay, those are some great ideas. So if you have more that I haven't captured, just type those in as we go. And now, reprinting. So the brochures, as I understand it, and Monica and Fran, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the printing that was already done is what was supported by the grant that we were doing it under. So we need to start exploring different ways to get reprintings done. And that was one of the questions on the survey. And these are a couple of the places that folks had indicated that they were able to get reprinting done. So one was a specific community agency, and then one was collaborating with their Head Start to go ahead and do reprinting.
And Debbie, we could show them where they can find the copies that they can print on the Captain website. So before we end here today, we'll take them to the Captain website to see where they can find their regional brochure.
Really good idea. Thanks, Monica. Yes, all of the regional brochures are on the Captain website, and I believe they have both the printer version, like if you're going to an actual print shop, and one that you can, run off that has all those little, oh, now I can't remember, the register marks, I think they're called, for the printers. Registration marks. Thank you. Fran has a graphic designer in her family, so she knows the answer to that one. And then one that you could just, like run off on your computer or a copy machine or something like that. So has anybody identified any other places that they can go with to get reprinting done, or had any chats about that with anybody? I'm thinking that might be something we want to talk about at the summits to see if folks have had some really good ideas or some collaborations that we might not have thought about yet. Okay, once again, if you guys have a brilliant idea that comes up, first 5 grants is an idea. I also was wondering about Help Me Grow as a possible partner, because one of their real goals is universal screening. So that might be another conversation we want to start trying to have in some of our local areas. Okay, there you go. So this is the second part of is doing Learn the Science Act early presentations in your region, and then let us know what kind of presentations that you've done. So here was the answer to that question. Have you done trainings? So almost 67% of people had done trainings and incorporated the Learn the Science Act early resources in those first 3 months. So that's fabulous. I mean, we are so appreciative of the work you guys are doing to support us in our ambassador jobs, because, it's a big state. And so you guys also should probably know that we've been asked to do a presentation to our other ambassadors across the country on the Deputy Ambassador Program. Because everybody's so enthusiastic about it. So you're making us look really good, because we're sharing some of these statistics for sure. So, and then let's see. And then how many people attended the trainings? So you see they range in all sorts of different size ranges. And I personally like a kind of a smaller presentation, because it really gives you the chance to answer lots of questions. So, so they're just really fabulous work. And then here was the audience. Again, you guys are getting out there, and early childhood providers, that is such a great group to get to, because they are really working. And this is, Mark, this is probably you right here. I wouldn't be surprised. And again, that's 50% having these other audiences. So there's just a big variety happening out there. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Fran. I know you guys are probably familiar with all the materials, but just in case, we're going to do a really quick overview and just remind you all of what's available to you besides the regional brochures. So Fran, you just have to tell me when you're ready to have me click through.
Okay, so again, you know, in addition to the regional brochures, you have access to all of the other Learn the Signs Act Early materials. And as you know, they were developed by the CDC in conjunction with the American Academy of Pediatrics. They're objective, research-based, and the goal is really to empower parents to become better partners in tracking development, but also not only being better partners, but for parents to be able to understand and identify their child's developmental milestones and to celebrate their successes. So next.
Oh, come on. There we go.
Okay. Again, the materials are completely free unless, you know, you really need a quantity where it makes sense to print your own, and then there is a printing cost. They can be ordered online. Many of them are printable online, so like the checklists, you know, we are printing those all of the time. There are also CDs available, so it's another way of printing them, and all of the materials are customizable. So again, if you're in a position where you would like to do your own printing, put your own information on those materials. Next. All of the materials are available in a minimum of Spanish and English, but there are additional languages available. And one caveat that I want to give you is the listing of the languages on the CDC website is not always up to date. So if you need a language that that is not listed, it really makes a lot of sense to go ahead and contact the CDC, because it's very likely that some materials, if not all of them, might be available in the languages that you're looking for. I know a couple of years ago when Debbie and I had a little bit of extra money to spend, we thought we would do some translation. We kept coming up with ideas for translating, only to find out that materials had already been translated into those languages. Okay, next. And of course, the materials are designed to be used by parents, things like the books, the growth charts. There are also materials for professionals, how to discuss milestones, tip sheets, and tools to be used by both parents and professionals together. Okay, turning it back.
All right, and then here is a slide that I also took out of the survey where it had you all, your deputy ambassadors as a whole, ordered any more resources, you know, the generic ones, and look at that, almost half had ordered other materials, so it's great. All right, Monica is going to talk about some new stuff for us and then hopefully take us out to the website.
Hi. And I also wanted to say that because there are 45 ambassadors now, they are having requests for materials at a higher rate than they ever have historically. So when you attempt to make an order, you might get a notice that they're out of stock, but I would encourage you to try again either the next day or the next week. We learned that they put a limit per day on how many they will release into the community. If anybody's had trouble ordering, please let Debbie know in the chat box, and we'll try to help you facilitate your request. So yes, we now have Where is Bear, which is the book that goes along with the 3-year-old Amazing Me, and Where is Bear is of a story of our little 2-year-old who's reaching different developmental milestones, and it's available in English and Spanish. I think we talked before about the different pictures and videos that are now available to access for your social media accounts or for the trainings that you conduct with parents. Pictures speak 1,000 words. So it's one thing to read about a milestone, but to actually see the picture of what it's talking about or the video, it is helpful. And now, most importantly, there is a milestone tracker app, and the app for the iProducts, the iPad or the iPhone, is available directly off of the CDC website. And they have also released the app for Android. That one hasn't been released to the larger public yet. So if you would like to try it out, you can contact Debbie, or you can contact me, and we might secretly give you the link to that so you can try it out and give some feedback. But Debbie, if you want to give me the screen, I can take them to show them the milestone tracker. Okay.
All right.
Let me know when you give me the ball.
You will see it. And then we had a question about if Mandarin is available, and I think it's Simple Chinese. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly? Simplified Chinese, is that? We'll have to find out on that. Okay.
Yes, and there might be Mandarin, so we can continue to do you know who gave you that question? Because we can email that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I'm going to jump in. Mandarin is not a written language; it's a spoken language. So there are materials in both Simple Chinese and traditional Chinese, but I'm not sure what's available in each.
Thanks, Fran.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see my screen right now, you can see it says Learn the Signs Act Early and the Milestone Tracker mobile app. And this is where you can link to get the app, download the Milestone Tracker app from iTunes today. You can add your child, and it will keep the parent updated on milestones. They'll be able to see different photos and videos for the child's age. It's going to send them notifications when it's time for a developmental screening. It's going to say, boop, 9 months. AAP recommends a full developmental screening at this age, which is nice. And then they're able to share the information in the app with the pediatrician. And so it's similar to using the booklet, but now it's in the palm of their hand with their phone, which is how many parents are functioning these days. So it's pretty great, and the feedback has been pretty wonderful so far. So here you can see it says, don't worry, Android users, it's coming. And like I said, it is available. It's just not fully released yet. I also wanted to show you how you can get your brochures on the Captain website. And so this is www.captain.ca.gov, and this is the homepage. And if you look to the side, you'll see Learn the Signs Act Early, Learn the Signs. There's a link back to the website. And then here are the regional Captain brochures. And depending on your region, you'll see your region number and your region name and all of the SELPAs within that region. And here is where you would click on the 3 different versions of the brochure. And so we've learned a lot about printing in this role, more than we ever thought we would know. So this is the web version, just if you're looking at it. Here's the printer-friendly version if you wanted to print it from your desk. How that's different than the web version, I have no idea, but it is. And this is the version if you wanted to send it to a professional printer at large quantities. Keeping in mind that the option for customization really is still with you even beyond this version. If you wanted to customize these brochures or any of the other materials to represent your own agencies, that's always an option as well. All right. So Debbie, I don't know if you want to bring me back to your screen, back to the slides.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So we're looking at Debbie's screen again. And so, always like us on Facebook. I think many of you, as the deputy ambassadors, have been following us on social media. I see many of you liking and sharing all of the information that we're sharing. And this is a great, easy, and free way for us to get wonderful information out to parents and others who work with young children. So keep it up, keep sharing these pages and the information, and we're really spreading the campaign in a very modern way. Next slide.
And I have to say, Monica's fast, boy. I always say, lots of times I'll get some kind of an email from somewhere about some new thing, and it's already on Facebook. Like before I even have a chance to go to the original email, she's already got it posted on Facebook. So she's quick.
So we decided, since we've been so successful at Facebook, we've decided to also now have an Instagram account and a Twitter account. So once again, you could find us on Twitter or on Instagram. Also Learn the Signs Act Early California, or a shortened variation of it.
And we do have more than 9 followers. It just, this is an old slide. So I don't know how many there are, but there's more than 9. So
yeah, I don't even think we have a slide for Twitter anymore. So
no,
keeping in mind that many of you have been doing presentations, and that's fantastic. We want to support you in those efforts. Always remember that you can find scripted or already audio covered PowerPoints that you can use in your presentations. There are presentations designed for particular disciplines. If you are presenting to doctors, or if you're presenting to early childhood educators. I don't know if we talked about the Watch Me training, but the Watch Me training that has been created for early childhood educators and has been online in English is now also available in Spanish on the CDC website. So spread the word. This is a great way for our early childhood educators to learn how to use the Learn the Signs Act early materials, and how to have conversations with families about tracking developmental milestones, but also how to have conversations with families when concerns are present.
And these are also fabulous for, even if you're not going to be there to be the presenter, if you let different organizations know about them, they can use them in in-services and that kind of thing, even on their own. So it's really a great resource.
And the 3 of us are just an email away if you ever want some help prior to a presentation that you're doing. So this is a card that Fran and Debbie have created. If you want some of these cards to distribute, you can contact us and we can try to get some to you. But it's really nice to be able to have an easy way to share information about how people can order materials. CDC has also created primers. Primers are one-pagers that we can hand out to physicians, or one-pagers that we can hand out to early childhood workers, so that they understand a little bit more about the materials that are available to them and how they can use them in their work. Next slide. And this is our contact information. So this is Monica, Fran, and Debbie. We are your ambassadors who are here to help support you in your work as deputy ambassadors and spreading the word about Learn the Signs Act Early. So does anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Do we have one more slide? Are we good?
No, the next one was just to go out to the website, and we already did that. So
okay.
Yeah, unless you have something else you'd like to show.
No,
Yeah, I think you did a good job. So yeah, any final questions or anything like that? Anything else that we can support you guys with? Hopefully you've got the summits on your calendar. Saying that, I should have had the dates right in front of me, which I don't. But we will look forward to seeing you all at the actual Captain Summits, and you'll be getting your annual survey shortly. So if there's something we've forgotten, let us know. You'll get, I think, a little follow-up email that gives you my information, just because I'm the webinar organizer today. So if your questions come up later on, you can certainly email any of us with the information here on the screen. So if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and close out the webinar, and thank you guys again for all of the work that you're doing. You make all of us look great to the CDC, as well as spreading the information out to all the families and providers in the state. So thanks so much, and we will see you at the summits.